Okay, all right. Welcome back to another episode of Queen's Generational Wellness. With me today, I have Miss Latonya Kelly. She is one of my fellow life coaches. We were in a class together, a course together, and she is here today, and she is my business bestie. We were accountability partners. We just hit it off from day one. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just a tad bit under the weather. Taking care of a sick child during the night, and I have a little bit of sinus, so excuse me if I sound a little nasally. But outside of that, I really feel great. I feel great.
That is awesome. So let's get into it. How did your journey start out with the wellness, taking better care of yourself? How did that start out for you?
Well, let's see. I don't want to get too long-winded, but I'll take you back to 2013. 2013 is when I got my cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to my cancer diagnosis, I was attempting with multiple fails to do right? But I was busted almost, right? I was overworked as a mom. I worked 12-hour shifts at the hospital, taking care of my babies, trying to run a household, not in the
Mm-hmm.
best love relationship, and not having confidence in myself. I gained a little weight, right? I couldn't
Yeah.
fit my clothes. I didn't like the how my clothes looked on me. And so, and I made multiple attempts. I overindulged in alcohol and I was smoking cigarettes. And I made attempts, to change. But I really did not make that attempt to change until I got my cancer diagnosis. One, I
Okay.
was forced to stop drinking and I was forced to stop smoking because of the
Mm-hmm.
treatment, right? So I
Right.
received radiation treatment and chemotherapy treatment. And so it's like, you can't do both, right?
Right.
But let me tell you, after I got my diagnosis, excuse me, I did try to have a cigarette and I almost choked to death. And my body was just like, what? What?
What you doing, girl? What you
Are you
doing?
doing? Like, what are you doing? And so it wasn't until really after then that I understood that, man, you got kids to raise, you have a thriving career, you have a household. Like, what are you
Right.
doing? Like, what are you doing? And me, a health professional, right? Doing things opposite of what I'm telling my patients to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll be surprised that a lot of us healthcare workers have some of the worst habits in regards to health. And it's sad to say it, but I witnessed it firsthand, not only through myself, but with my other counterparts as well as
Mm-hmm.
physicians, not only nurses. So, um, after I went through my chemo and my radiation, now I had to build back my body right because we know that chemotherapy and radiation, it kills the good cells as well as the bad cells, right?
Right.
And so I had to kind of like build myself back up, right? I was weak. I had lost 50 pounds in a matter of like 1 to 2 months. Um,
Yeah.
and I made a decision at that point. Well, the decision was already made for me when I got that cancer diagnosis. Really, it was the gift of God.
Mm-hmm.
I never asked why me, but I asked why not me. And I think it was a lesson for me to get my shit together. Sorry. It was a lesson for me to get my shit together and to look at what I had on this earth and who I was responsible for, right? And who was dependent on me, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And as a mother, you feel like dad may be in the picture or grandma or grandpa or aunties and uncles, but can't nobody take care of your babies like mama can take care of their babies,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And just from there on, I just developed a love of fitness and nutrition, but I still wasn't great at it, right? I kind of almost fell back into my routine once I got well enough to get back
Mm-hmm.
to work. Not in a routine of alcohol, not in a routine of smoking cigarettes, but corned beef sandwiches from the corned beef deli, every other day,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Pizza. I just substituted it with food because I never even really got to the real root of why were you overindulging in alcohol and why was you smoking almost 2 packs of cigarettes every day? So that
Mm-hmm.
I never had tackled that issue,
Right.
right? So yes, I stopped smoking, and yes, I stopped drinking alcohol for quite some time. It wasn't a year until after remission that I might have had something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
But there was things that I was dealing with within myself and not loving me for who I was and still self-sabotaging. I just found
Right.
something else, you know?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then I just one day got sick and tired of being sick and tired of feeling depressed, of needing
Mm-hmm.
validation, of not being confident with the inside of me and the outside of me, right? I just got sick of being on this hamster wheel, right? Of not realizing my self-worth and not realizing that I am a woman first. Yes, I am a mom, I am a wife, but I am still a woman first above all of that,
Right.
right? And so I just started on this journey of just baby steps of just doing something different, right?
Right.
And come
Right.
to find out that I enjoyed fitness, I enjoyed nutrition, and I kind of like embraced it. I love the way it made me feel. I love the way that there was a shift in my mindset and in my focus
Mm-hmm.
and in my confidence and in like my abilities, right? And so
Yes.
because of that journey that I went through, I've turned that journey and that passion into where I am today as a women's health and wellness coach, mainly focused on busy moms. Why? Because I know her. I've been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been depressed, the overweight, the lack of confidence, putting my passions on the back burner because it's like, oh, I have a family now. I can't do anything that I want to do, right? And
Right.
so I target those moms and we help develop them to be the best version of themselves through mindset, self-care, physical fitness, and nutrition.
Right. Okay. Okay. So cancer survivor, wait, woman first,
Yes.
mom, cancer survivor, nurse, and now you're a coach doing this wellness coaching. I mean, I don't know how to put it into words how I want to put it, but how did you get to that point where you said, okay, I'm going to start coaching other people? I am How did you get past, let's just go back a little bit. How did you get past that needing validation? What
How
did
did
you do to validate yourself?
I had to get naked, literally. I got
Mm-hmm.
naked in the mirror because here was the thing with needing validation, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
living in the movies. I would see a romantic movie and see how that husband or that boyfriend was just doing the most every day. I'm like, shit, I don't even get half of that every day. Like, what the hell? He's telling her how pretty she is every day, and he's
Mm-hmm.
just ever so lightly touching her on her cheek every day. He just comes up and grabs her every day, just telling her how wonderful she smells, and I'm like, what? I don't, Why I don't get that shit? Living in a dream world through
Dream world,
TV,
fantasy.
through a fantasy, right? And so
Disney World.
a Disney world, right, right. A whole new world, right. So here's what I realized is that I had to love myself first. Like I'm my own best friend. I'm
Mm-hmm.
my own best friend. And I can't spend the rest of my days every day down and depressed just because my man didn't tell me I was cute today.
Right.
Right? So I had to get over that. And then here's one thing that I realized that maybe most women don't realize, and it's a hard pill to swallow. When you are not confident in yourself, and you down and you depressed all the time and you not taking care of yourself or your man might lose a little bit interesting. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. And I'll say this. When
Mm-hmm.
I started to become in love with myself, doesn't matter how I looked on the outside, right?
Right.
And started doing something new and was out this house, right?
Um,
And had a smile on my face, right? And I had
mhm.
a different strut. I mean, the googly eyes was just like, well, where you going?
What you doing
What
tonight?
you doing? Come here, girl.
Who you
Bring
going
that
out with?
here. Bring it here, girl. Bring it here. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But you know, even when your man get that fresh haircut, it does just something to you, right?
Right.
Come here, bring that here. Come here, bring that. You know what I'm saying? And so when your man or your spouse have that confidence within themselves and they walk a certain way, it just makes them that more sexy and attractive, right? And so me looking for that validation, like, oh, please tell me, tell me, tell me. Now, I'm not
Mhm.
saying because my man always told me, I like what you look like, I like your belly, I like it all, right? I like it
Mhm.
all. But because I didn't like me, the self doubt, that depression, I didn't look so attractive to me. I
To
didn't look
you.
so attractive to me. I was never told that, but I see the
Mhm.
difference from when I was that person from this person now. There's a difference, right? No words need to be said, but
Right.
you just get excited when you just be like, damn, girl. You're like, damn, who just this, that. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. but, but it's real. I'm just keeping it real. Look,
Right.
Nika, you know
Right.
I'm a little holy, I'm a little bougie, I'm a little ghetto, and I'm all the way extra. And I'm just gonna be my authentic self.
Right.
And I just want to share my story, share of what I've gone through because I'm sure I'm not the only one, right, who has
No.
felt that way. And
Right.
so I just realized that when I started doing some self development and some inner work and actually
Mhm.
just getting in that mirror and just standing there and just taking
Mhm.
inventory of, I did take inventory first of what I did not like about myself on the outside, right?
Okay.
And I would look at myself every day. But the more I did some inner work that day and got back in front of that mirror, I started to love myself a little bit more. The
Mhm.
next day I did some inner work, listened to maybe some TD Jakes or some Les Brown, right? Or maybe I did some affirmations, right? Confirming who I want to be, right? I had a vision for myself of what I wanted to be or how I saw myself. And I had to ask myself, what does that version of the person that you want to be, what does she do? Right? What is she doing every day
Right.
to to love herself on the inside? And when you love yourself on the inside, it automatically shows on the outside, regardless of what your body type is, right?
Right.
And so once
Right.
I started to do that inner work and was just like, girl, you I didn't need that validation anymore. That was just extra, right?
Right.
That
Right.
was just extra. Because truth is, what if something happens, God forbid, to that man, and he's not there every day to tell me something?
Right.
Am I going to be in a depressed state for the rest of my life? No, right? So I had to love me for me and validate myself,
That's right.
validate my own self. And then his validation is just some extra sauce, right?
The sauce.
That's the sauce. And so I just had to work on me and do the inner work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I stopped seeking validation. And even in business too, right? Even in business, we see, listen, the way you do one thing in one area of your life, it always transforms to other areas of your life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that little bit of that need and validation creeped on into my business life a little bit. And
Mm.
then I still have to do the inner work in regards to myself and my capabilities within my business. And
Mm-hmm.
once I realized that I'm being the best version of me, I'm being who God wants me to be, I'm walking the path that God has led me to, because He gave me these thoughts. He gave me these ideas. And when you
Mm-hmm.
become the best version of yourself, and walking in your identity, you don't need validation from nobody, right? You don't even, I used to ask God to allow me to make an impact and to make a difference in others' lives. But once you do God's work for me and you're walking in the best version of yourself, you're gonna make an impact regardless,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
There,
Right.
you're gonna be able to move somebody, encourage somebody, just because you're the best version of yourself, and that's just what you do. So you don't have to ask to allow me to make impact in someone's life, and or make a difference, or however you want to word it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's all about the inner work. It starts with the inner work first.
Right.
That mindset, right? And knowing that mindset is not about happy, happy, joy, joy. Nah, nah. Because sometimes we go through things are just gonna continue to come at us.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, sometimes you ain't happy about it today.
Right.
Right? It's not like, oh, let me change this negative thing into a positive thing. Nah, it really don't work like that.
Right.
It don't
Right.
work like that. And so we have to address, like, our emotions. We have to address the negativity. We have
Right.
to address that versus, oh, let me turn this negative thought into a positive thought. No, lean into that. Lean into whatever is going on. Lean into
Mm-hmm.
that emotion, that sadness, that depression, right? That
Right.
betrayal, whatever it is, lean into it. Why is this happening? What is triggering me to make me feel this way? How can
Mm-hmm.
I not necessarily avoid it, right? Because some things you just
Right.
can't avoid. But how do I plan for this to show up again in my life? And how will I choose to react to it?
Right.
Right? I know that was a lot. You
It
asked me
wasn't.
one question, and I just listen.
It's okay. It's
Here,
okay.
here's the thing about my confidence now, Mika. 2, 3 years ago, I would never thought that I'll be sitting here. I was always so scared to talk. I was
Mm-hmm.
always so scared of being seen because I thought I was not smart enough, right? I thought I was not articulate enough, right? I thought all of
You
these
saying
things.
that, and you're a nurse.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm. That's something.
I had all of these stories I was telling myself. No one else was telling it to me, but I will
Mm-hmm.
always stand in the background. And so now that I've done the inner work, and now that I've gained this confidence, because I'm trying new things, and once you try something new, it just gives you that fuel to just continue to do something different and keep, give you that
Right.
confidence. And so now when people ask me a question, I just kind of talk too much or go on a tangent, whereas I wasn't saying.
It wasn't a tangent. It wasn't. You
Okay.
kind of like just talking to you because, as life coaches, we coach each other.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, because this is going to help somebody else.
Yeah.
This is going to get somebody else out of their, I'm going to just say their funk.
Yeah. That's
like
what I call it too.
Like you said, we got to go through it. We got to go through it, but we ain't got to sit in it.
Right.
Go through what you're going to go through, but we ain't got to sit in it.
Right.
We ain't got to stay in it.
You ain't got to sit in it.
Every problem is a solution. No matter what you think, there's a solution. And it's going to come sooner or later. Might not come when you want it. But it's always a solution.
Facts.
So this was great. This was really good. And I'm not asking you any more questions because you about answered all of them. And we'll go on for days.
I know, right?
But as far as your coaching, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Latonya Kelly, LATONYAKELLY _ you are fit FIT coach COACH, which may be changing soon to just Coach Latonya Kelly. But for now, it's Latonya Kelly _ UR FIT COACH. You like
right? I mean, I'll put it in I'll put it in the description. But you gotta let people
some things. I learned some things yesterday in regards to Instagram, and so I'm always learning too, right? I never stop learning for the best.
Always learning.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Yeah.
That's the only way to go.
Yeah.
If you're not learning, what are you doing?
Right. You can also follow me on Facebook at Latonya Floyd Gross as well.
Mm-hmm.
LATONYA Floyd, F as in Frank, LOYD GROSS.
Right. Well, it was good having this conversation with you, and I'm sure we'll do another one.
Absolutely.
We're gonna talk about this nursing and stuff that goes on with the patient.
Listen, they was going outside smoking with me. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm ashamed to say it.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about it. Well, we want to thank you all for listening. See you next time.